What up, y'all? How you doing? How are y'all doing? I was trying, me and Instagram fight every single week. I'm gonna try it one more time, but we got this. Okay, there we go. I don't know what the kind of beef me and IG have, but I try. If you're on D Love Sports, it should be live on there now. Hi, if you can see me. But let's get back to what it is. We got some people waiting, so I'm gonna try to make this short. But I got some things I got to get off my chest. I always have to get this off. And we'll talk about the beautiful win the Pittsburgh Steelers had in Seattle. It was lovely to see another 30-point game from the offense. The defense stepped it up in the second half, and I couldn't be prouder because they didn't allow Seattle to get in that end zone at all in the second half. But I do want to send a care package of some sort. So what's his name? Quandre Diggs, because Najee Harris and Jalen Warren single-handedly just made that man have a bad day the last day of 2023. And I'm so sorry to that man that he had to, deal with those guys and be leading his team in tackles of Najee Harris and Jalen Warren as they just ran all over the place. I mean, shout out to Quandre. The one play that I really want to highlight was in that second quarter. When I tell you, second quarter around 3 minutes and what was it, 30 something seconds left, Najee Harris, he gets the ball and he takes Quandre and some other guy all the way down to what, the 25. So it was like a 45 yarder from Najee. Beautiful play. Sorry, Diggs. Sorry that happened to you. But another play I want to highlight was when Najee gets into the end zone. And not just any type of way, right? He has Bobby Wagner, and you see Darnell Washington hold on to Bobby Wagner and drag. Like, I thought I was back in the 90s and it was Whitney dragging Bobby out the club or something like that. But Bobby Wagner Darnell Washington dragged Bobby Wagner, Najee Harris, Pat Fryermuth into the end zone. It was just incredible. I loved it. I freaking loved that play. Eric Rowe, I want to highlight him. He led the team in tackles. Great way to just be coming in and step it up. He also had the interception the week before. So Eric Rowe, I love the consistency. You're playing, you're balling out. And JPJ, I want to highlight him because that was a smart move. The holding call on DK Metcalf. You got him to tick. We needed him to tick at some point, and you got him to tick. So shout out to them for that. Now, for the serious business that I have to talk about. Yeah. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. Congratulations on your 17th consecutive season of not having a losing season. Congratulations. I see a lot of chatter on the timeline. I see a lot of people congratulating him, talking about he's awesome, talking about, the good things about him. But you know what? I just want to highlight everyone that continues to kind of say he is the M word, mediocre. And I said, you know what? Let me find out exactly the definition of mediocre, just so we can have a clear understanding what mediocre means. The definition, it's an adjective first, right? Of only moderate quality and not very good. That's what mediocre means. So, in order to be mediocre, you kind of got to be in the middle. You kind of just got to be okay. Not very good, not terrible. Well, I was trying to figure out where he stood at in the 17 consecutive seasons of winning seasons. I was trying to figure out who was above him and who was below him, and I just could not figure that out. I couldn't find any information on it. I couldn't even find anybody that had 18 consecutive winning seasons. So I was just like, dang, how in the world is he mediocre if there's no one above him? That's strange to me. So maybe someone can help me figure that out. I know we like to go into the playoff bag here, but okay, that's fine. You want to have that playoff argument? Don't call this man mediocre if he's done something for 17 seasons, not just 17 seasons. Forget having 17 winning seasons. How about 17 consecutive winning seasons? And you want to tell me that's mediocre? Okay, have at it. But anyway, let's get started here. I got some wonderful, wonderful people waiting, so I'll get y'all in here. And I'm done with my rant. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? What's up, Suge? We got Dane back. What up, Dex? And Uncle Jimmy. What's up, Uncle Jimmy? How y'all doing? Oh man, so Uncle Jimmy was there at the game. Is anybody else there? I know. I don't think. I think you were the only one there.
I was there.
Okay, how was that vibe? How was the atmosphere? I had to. It looked like there were a lot of Steelers fans there.
Yeah, you know what's funny, D, is we were out in Vegas, and y'all remember how we took over Las Vegas for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Seattle was. I don't know that it was quite that populated with Steeler fans, but our whole half, the Steeler sidelines, that entire half of the stadium was black and gold. I mean, it's
Oh.
one of those deals where you hear the crowd roar because the Steelers did something good. And I felt it's one of those deals where a little bit of you feels bad for the other team, but then you're like, nah,
Mm-hmm.
nah,
Yeah.
we're the Steelers. No,
I was
no, it was
wondering how
great.
we were
It
going
was
to show up. I wonder how we were going to show up against the 12th man, but you saw those towels waving, and it was great. It was great to see. Dane, how'd you like my little opening monologue there?
I thought it was funny.
Good.
I thought it was funny. It was a good monologue. He's not a mediocre coach.
Mm-hmm.
He's a slightly above average coach,
Mm-hmm.
and for many reasons. And the 17 seasons, that's great. But what have you done for me lately is where I'm going with. Like, what are you doing with that information? Like, you were able. See, I saw what you did on Twitter. I saw that.
I do.
Or do you still want him fired? Or
This is the guy that tried to run out of town. Yes, I said
here's
that.
the thing. You were able to get him to play the last 2 games, right? He's getting credit for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
What about the 3 games before that? Where was he during those 3 games? Or are we going to blame that on Trubisky? Who are we going to blame that on? So, to me, it's just a normal, this is what you're going to get. He's going to struggle. He's going to bring us back into contention, and hopefully we'll get help to get into the playoffs. And I don't know. I'm not impressed.
You're not impressed.
No.
We got Frank and Sugar and Uncle Jimmy are all new to the show today, so I just want to thank y'all for coming in. You're not impressed. I hear what you're saying. Look, they dropped 3 games in a row, but I think every team, for the most part, has a stretch where they struggle.
Not against no 2 or 10 teams. No, not at home.
You didn't watch any of the Chiefs games? You didn't watch the Kansas City Chiefs this season? The Kansas City Chiefs.
We're not giving them a pass on that one.
Even at home.
We are not giving them a pass on that.
I'm just saying that a lot of teams have go through a slump, but I think I remember the Ravens had consecutively had like maybe 2 to 3 games.
We're talking about Tomlin's teams.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it happens in the league. It happens. It's not you're not going to win 11 games in a row.
Doing that. But he's consistently doing that, though, to teams that are supposedly lesser than him and his team. So why are we doing that? Why do we get up for the big teams but can't get up for the small to the lesser teams? Why do we do that? Why are they not ready to play against lesser teams on a normal basis?
I'll say this. I'll have to agree with you there with these last 3 games, with the 3 games prior to our winning. We have underachieved. Like you can't. You look at a 2-10 team, you should beat them. But Arizona plays everybody hard. They just beat Philly. They play everybody hard. But at the same time,
why are we so Suge, I'm gonna let you finish, but like, why are we acting like Arizona was not without Kyler Murray for most of the season? Why are we acting like Kyler Murray doesn't give them a different just give them a different offense overall? Like, why are we acting like there was a ton of tape on who are they? Who are they? The Carolina who? I mean, not Carolina. Who are Cardinals? The Arizona Cardinals had a ton of tape of them executing to the tight end and all that without Kyler Murray.
We're making
excuses. Why are we acting like this 2-10 team had a bunch of Kyler Murray too?
We're making excuses. Okay,
I'm not.
they're
I
2-10.
I don't want to. I don't want to sit and act like this was the
They
week
didn't even
2
show
Arizona
up.
Cardinals.
They didn't show up.
They,
Period.
yeah, they didn't show up against that Cardinals
That's my
team.
point.
That Cardinals team plays hard. That Cardinals team play hard, but they're 2-10,
Yeah, they do.
and their tight end look like a Hall of Famer against us.
Like,
You're
where
telling
are they?
me outside of James Conner, you couldn't stop the tight end?
They couldn't.
I mean, there was no excuse. There's no excuse. There's no excuse against the Patriots. Their tight end looked like Gronk first and Brady out there.
Like the
And
Colts,
there was no excuse for that. I won't give Tomlin a pass on those. But you got to remember at the beginning of the season, people were saying we were going to go 6-11, 7-10. We weren't even going to be above 500. Now, and I see he's clapping. These 3 games screwed us. We should be in the playoffs. We shouldn't even have to be worrying right now about it. But we didn't play against. We played less down to our competition. So now we're sitting there trying to get help. And I think next year, you really got to look at a change if he doesn't make the right changes. He needs to bring in an offensive coordinator. He needs to bring Byron Leftwich in. That's bottom line. He should have never left Flores gone and should have made him the DC. But now we need to get a DC, an OC, and you gotta make those changes and figure out your quarterback situation. Once you do that, see what you can do. If you get to the playoffs, then he's going to have a longer tenure. If not, it's time to make a change.
This is what annoys me real quick. This is my last point. We're so quick to, good job, Tomlin, for having your team ready, bringing them back. But when we lose 3 in a row, what do we do then? It's the player's fault.
What do you mean?
He didn't throw the INTs. He didn't fumble. He didn't do this. Well, he didn't throw INTs either. He didn't throw touchdown passes in the last 2 games, did he?
So I'm sorry. Are you saying he's not to blame for the wins or the losses? So where?
Yeah. So if he's going to get credit for the wins, is he going to get credit for the losses as well?
But I don't think he doesn't not get credit blame for the L's. Like, I don't think he does. I think he does. Like everybody down to the media on national media who doesn't talk about the Steelers all that much was talking about him losing his job. So I don't like how can we say he doesn't get blamed for that when there was a conversation about this man losing his job and moving on from this team?
Y'all don't have the same pressure when he's losing as opposed to when he's winning. It's like, oh, he deserved the coach of the year. Now, come on. It's time to step up and have your team ready on a consistent basis. Consistent basis. Consistent.
I'm tired of looking for help every year. Every year we're looking for help.
Win your game.
Yeah, we shouldn't be looking for help. Yeah. We should honestly be 12-5 this year, minimum. We should have been 12-5.
Oh.
What's the why are we
these expectations
9-6 or sorry
season? Y'all crazy, yo.
What do you mean the expectations? We just lost to 3 teams that were 2-10. How do you lose those games?
I heard somebody say we wasn't supposed to win 5 games this year.
No, that's what people were picking. That was what people were picking us to win, or only 5 games. But if you look how everything lined up, we should have finished 12-5, no worse than 11-6.
Easy.
And those three losses to Indianapolis, the Patriots.
What kind of talk
why did we lose? Why did we lose to the Patriots?
Why
is my question.
To the Arizona Cardinals? Why?
Business is the reason why we lost. Business.
Okay.
So if it's business, your head coach should our head coach should have took care of business then. What business was why did we lose those games?
Look, man,
that's the problem.
We could probably go down this.
We paid them so we get come in.
We could probably go down this rabbit hole all night, but I do want to focus on what we saw the last 2 weeks about this team, because this team that played Arizona, this team that played the Patriots, and this team that played the Colts doesn't seem to be the same team. And I want to really stick it to the offensive line. They have been balling, and not even just the offensive line. We talked about I know I mentioned how I wanted to see the tight ends be more involved. I think Dave said the same thing last week. but the Titans were way more involved, but in a different capacity, right? They were out there. Like they took all the wide receivers off the field and they had Connor, they had Hot Rod, they had Washington, they had all the tight ends out there, farmers blocking. And I think that was amazing to see all those guys out there making a way for Najee and Jalen to make plays. Did you guys notice that?
I'm going to tell you, I've sat kind of quiet, but I'm going to talk Tomlin real quick, and then I'm going to come forward to what you just asked, Steve. Mm-hmm. Tomlin's 5-1 this year against the division. Arguably could be 6-0 if Canada runs the ball at the end of that game and kills the clock instead of throwing it 3 and out and giving Cleveland the ball back and letting them score and win that game. My issue with Tomlin goes back to last season when every single one of us on the planet knew Canada shouldn't have come back. They brought him back. And then we struggled with him earlier part of this year. My second problem that I have is that the guy, and this is going to answer your question, D, the guy that unbelievably has turned this thing around is Mason Rudolph. And the head coach doesn't see that he's the best option instead of Trubisky when Pickett goes down. So I think he deserves some criticism. I know he's not the guy throwing the interceptions. I know he's not the guy out there. But by that standard, anytime somebody goes down that road with me, by that standard, we should never fire any coach since they're not the ones out there playing the game. It doesn't work that way. So at the end of the day, you mentioned it earlier. I was at the Seattle game. I was fortunate to get some crazy seats. We were right behind the Steeler bench. And you and I talked a little bit about this, Steve, a little bit of an exchange. It gives you an opportunity to see dynamics at play that you don't see on TV and hell that you don't see from, higher up. Mason Rudolph commands a tremendous amount of respect on that sidelines. I'll say it, I was surprised at the lack of dissension, the camaraderie, the high five, the pat on the back, the what have you. He came off the field, doesn't matter. Touchdown, punt, doesn't matter what happened. Same demeanor, same calm, sits their tablets. They start going to work. Coach Sullivan comes over. Pickett's offering this. Trubisky's offering that. Rudolph's, doing his thing. They meet for 5-10 minutes and they go back at it. But the offensive line, the tight ends, Washington was over there regularly asking questions. DJ, who we've seen disengaged, was completely engaged over in the conversation. That entire sideline was gravitating to Mason. So I think, look, when you're winning and you're making great plays and I think that builds confidence. There's no question with the team. But to me, the biggest difference these last 2 weeks, and especially at Seattle, was just he was almost flat foot in the pocket. He was so calm. He wasn't dancing. The guy was just I was blown up. I couldn't believe how good he played. But I think that's the biggest difference. Not a whole lot else has changed. So, again, I think Tomlin deserves a lot of credit, and I think he deserves just as much criticism.
And I think he accepts that. Right? That's I don't think he runs away from it either, right? I think he knows, you're going to blame me. They're going to point the finger at me. He has to, quote unquote, make the tough decisions. So I don't think he runs away from that. So I don't disagree with anything that you said. I just don't agree with him being the one that should be fired or whatever. And I'm sorry. I can't be
You're
convinced.
never going to feel that way, though. You're never going to feel that way. Ever.
I in some ways I want him to leave just so people can see. In some ways I do. That won't mean he's going to be fired. I'm not going to wish him being fired ever. But if you're old enough to remember, I do want him to go so people can see life without him and understand what that looks like, how the players really respond to something like that.
If you're old enough to remember Noel leaving, the sky was falling when Chuck Noll was gone. What the hell are we going to do now? Along came Cowher. When Cowher's leaving, we're screwed. He's the best coach in the NFL. Along comes Tomlin. So there is somebody else out. Look, I think the sleeper, everybody's talking about Harbaugh going to the Chargers. Eric Bieniemy needs to be in the conversation to be the next head coach in the NFL, and I think that guy will do some damage. So if he came in behind Tomlin, I think we're not going to forget Mike Tomlin anytime soon. The guy's incredible, but I think there's plenty of guys out there that are awfully talented.
Yeah, I just I'm curious what life after Tomlin looks like and how people react to it, because believe it or not, this is a fan base that is not used to being at the bottom of the division, let alone the bottom of the barrel of anything. So if you're upset now and you almost got 10 games under your belt here, a 10-7 season, and that's bottom of the barrel for me. I don't believe this team in any season should be below 10 games a season. And you're looking at across, like, look at the NFC South? Like, what the heck? There's just some divisions I look at and it was like, man, like, you don't even have to have a winning season to make it the playoffs. So I know that I'm grateful and thankful to be a part of such a competitive division and being able to show up in those games with who we have and what we have at those times. So
we arguably could be 14-3 this year. There's 3 teams that beat us down: the 49ers, the Texans, and the Jaguars. Every other game we've been in. And
I think we could have beat the Jaguars. Like, I really think if the Kenny Pickett got hurt that game, I really think that was a winnable game for us. And that's one of the games I wish we could have had back, because the Jaguars were not that good. We just happened to just stink it up that particular game.
I will say this. Dane said it a second ago. I was also at the Cardinals and Patriots that Sunday, Thursday debacle. What he said is money. We did not show up to win those games. We were not prepared to play. And I think how you say your names? Is it Suge?
Shugs.
Sorry, man. Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good.
You said it too, man. We did not show up for the Arizona game. I mean, I sat in the stands like, what in the hell?
Don't forget about the Colts game.
Oh, don't talk about that one.
Don't forget about the Colts game.
Don't talk about that game.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that one.
13-0, and then they scored 30 straight. Like, don't talk about that one.
Hey, D, from a historical perspective, you asked at the top of the show.
Yeah.
Tomlin is third all-time in consecutive winning seasons, trailing only Tom Landry with 21 and Bill Belichick with 19.
Consecutive seasons. Consecutive winning seasons.
You got Landry 21, Belichick 19, and Tomlin, what he just hit 17, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so what's below him?
Just not their whole career.
Everybody else?
No, I mean, what's the next number? Is 16 below him?
Yeah.
Do you know? Okay. Just curious. That doesn't seem like he's in the middle of anything, but hey, whatever.
Well, I want to respond to Pitts and Push Sports Talk. He says,
Pitts
our
and
team
Push
played
has a lot
great.
to say in the comments if you guys are.
He says we played great again, and we're talking about what? Well, we're talking about we're possibly missing the playoffs. That's the problem here. It's not. It's great when we play great, but the problem is we need help, and we shouldn't be in that position. Again, I know he said don't make excuses. Arizona plays hard, so you got to show up to play hard against them. The Patriots game, why we lost that game, no idea. Indianapolis, okay, it was in their house, whatever. But if we get the Patriots game, we're in the playoffs right now, with Sunday coming. And that's the problem here. It's not that we don't think this team can play great. The problem is we're going to miss the playoffs again if we don't get help. And like Frank said earlier, why do we need help every year? We should be resting and we should be getting ready for the playoffs. Instead,
teams they're not supposed to lose to. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so now we're sitting here hoping to get help
at home.
Yeah.
And the Jets, like all
at home, especially at home.
Frank, what's
especially
up?
At home.
What's going on, Dane?
All right, man.
See you this weekend.
You know it.
Man, speaking of this weekend, it's going to be nasty. So we already heard that Lamar Jackson's not playing. The weather, there's supposed to be like some nor'easter, some type of storm coming in. And they moved the game to Saturday from Sunday, which I'm not happy about. I was looking forward to happening on Sunday. It will be happening Saturday, 4:30 in Baltimore. I love M&T Bank. Let me address this Mitch comment, right? I'm sorry. I hate to switch as quickly as I did, but I saw Mitch's name pop up. I think they went with Mitch because of what they're paying him. I think if you look at it from a contract, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I think that's
talk. I'm
why
talking that shit. Go ahead.
yeah, from top down, look, we're paying you all this money. You need to go out and prove that you're worth the dime. And if not, then we have to move. We have to take another course of action. And he got plenty of opportunity to prove it, and it didn't work out. He got what, 2 full games, 2 full starting games. Was it more than that?
I was on his side for a while with that
Yeah, I
Colts
mean,
game.
like
I was
you
like,
got
dude,
like
I'm
if
over you.
you can't skip him as much as you're paying that man, you cannot skip him in line to give him an opportunity to lead this team. It don't make sense. Like you shouldn't have even brought him back if that was the case. If you was going to skip him and like that no, the money don't make sense. So you got to prove your worth, and he definitely did. And they'll probably be making the necessary actions postseason. So I'm sorry, I had to get that out.
That was his chance to prove everybody wrong that hated him, and they just threw him in the dirt. He threw himself in the dirt playing that horrible game.
Yeah, we hate that it came to that. We did see him lead us to victory the last season when he stepped in for Kenny against Carolina. That was not the outcome of these last few games that he started. So moving on. Okay, back to the game in Baltimore on Saturday. It's going to be interesting. The Ravens already announced that Lamar Jackson is not playing, which is fine because Tyler Huntley still gives the Pittsburgh Steelers problems. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been playing against backups all season long, so this is not a cakewalk for the Pittsburgh Steelers because maybe a lot of the starters for the Baltimore Ravens won't be playing. But how do you see what they've done, what they were able to do last week coming across in Baltimore? Because, I mean, like I said, the offensive line played phenomenal. Isaac, the tight ends out there. I don't even think y'all answered my question about the tight ends. Did y'all answer my question about the tight ends?
They block better.
Did y'all notice how they were out there? Like they would literally take DJ's out the game, Calvin's out the game, Pickens is out the game, and they put all of the tight ends in to help block. I thought that was great. That's different. We hadn't seen that, and it gave everybody the sense of run, but they still couldn't stop it. I thought that was dope. Because Roddy doesn't get out there much, but he was out there. He was out there balling, blocking. Of course, Donnell Washington has some amazing freaking blocks out there too. So, do you see that transcending well and being able to make them get into the end zone like they were able to last week against Seattle and Baltimore?
If the weather's going to be the way it is, yeah, we're gonna need them that entire game. To me, it's going to be a running game. It's going to be a ground game as far as I'm concerned. You won't be able to throw in a nor'easter. So they're going to crowd the line on both teams, and the whoever the best offensive line show up is probably going to win that game.
Dex, if you're talking, we can't hear you. I don't know if he's talking. Anybody? He probably thought we were ignoring him this whole time. But yeah, I think this matchup is going to be interesting. Of course, the Steelers have a lot to play for, and they're going to be amped up and they're going to be juiced up. And I did hear that Mika Fitzpatrick practiced today. Don't know the extent of his practicing, but he did practice. They missed him in that Seattle game. I think tackling was really, really hard for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they struggled a little bit there. And the way that Mika Fitzpatrick runs horizontally versus the vertical run just helps him be able to get to his spots to make those tackles. And I think people discount that with him. Like they don't appreciate that. And I really want to highlight that him being out there and being able to move sideways on that field really helps get those guys down faster. So they were missing that. But shout out to Eric Rowe. He was trying to keep up. He had 10 solo tackles this game. And I'm gonna pull up some more stats. And we had a conversation about MVP last week, and TJ Watt won that. We definitely talked about Rookie of the Year. I believe Rookie of the Year was JPJ, but we got to talk about the Nick Herbig play. That was phenomenal. He only played 2 snaps, but comes up with a wonderful strip sack. How do you guys feel about that particular play? Shug? Anybody?
I mean, it was a good play.
I called
it was real, yeah.
Not him per se.
What? We're just gonna be like,
My
this was
prediction was we was gonna win because of that.
Because he was what? You said your prediction was what?
For me,
The entire
my prediction was we was gonna get 30 again. You feel me? And we was gonna get 30 because Geno Smith was gonna fumble at a crucial time. So I called that. I called it. You feel me? So I was like, damn, it really happened. But the fact that it was Herbert, even better, man. Even better.
We put him in the conversation of rookie of the year with JPJ just last week. So the fact that no one's excited, no one like what he made a TJ Watt-ish Alex Highsmith-esque. He was actually filling in for Alex Highsmith in that moment play. He was able to get under the offensive lineman and make the play on the quarterback. I think it was phenomenal with, I believe, it was 7 minutes left in the game, and just put your team right back in the red zone just to put points on the board. Like I really don't think that they were about to score. No, wait, where were they? They weren't about to score. Where were they? They weren't about to score. But anyway,
They're like on the 20 or 30.
Yeah. They weren't about to score. They weren't about to score. Because we ended up getting the ball in the red zone, so they weren't like. But you just take all the momentum out of that stadium. You take the crowd out of it. You take, I don't know, Jimmy, how the crowd was after that particular play, but I imagine they didn't have a whole lot to talk about. So like that is just so amazing. As a rookie, is this his third sack? Third sack of the season?
Well, Nick,
He's got at least three. He's got at least three. And I'll look it up in a second here, but like phenomenal play for a guy. He ain't getting that many snaps, y'all. So that's telling you when he's out there, he's being productive. They're not taking Alex and TJ Watt out of the game that much in this last stretch. They did it a lot maybe earlier in the season, but they're not doing it these last few weeks. They're staying out there.
I remember saying, when is Highsmith and Watt going to step up and get some pressure? Granted, Watt was getting hold probably the whole game, but to have Herbert come in and do what they usually do, that was big. That was big.
Nick is better than Highsmith. No, wait a minute now. Hold your horses.
I didn't say that.
Hold your horses.
Yeah,
We ain't gonna go that far.
somebody in the chat said that.
Oh.
Yeah, and they're going after him.
That's my young boy right there, man. He gotta chill.
He got 3 sacks though. He has 3 sacks for the year.
He has 3. I was gonna say he got to have at least 3. I remember seeing 2 in my own eyes, and one just on Saturday or Sunday, excuse me. And there was something else that I wanted to bring up, y'all. Before we get into the dramatic, because
wait, can I say something?
Yeah, Dex, because you were on mute. Go ahead.
Yeah, I tried something new and it ain't work, so we back to the phone. No, I wanted to talk about the tight ends. Like first, playing in that what they call like 12 personnel is like something serious if you have the attitude that you want to block. Like I was watching the clip. Najee thought that the O-line got him into the end zone, and if you look at that clip, not near one of the O-line was near him. It was all 3 tight ends.
It was Darnell Washington and Pat Fryermuth, and I don't know who.
Little Connor was like.
Connor, yeah. When I tell you, Darnell Washington, come here, Bobby. He dragged Bobby.
I felt bad for Bobby, yo. I might take him out the Hall of Fame. That one play right there.
That's not gonna take him out.
Take him out.
Washington was sitting on one of those big Gatorade thermoses, and he was still taller than Calvin Austin.
How big is he in person, Jimmy?
No, he's huge.
He is a monster. He is huge. Him and Broderick Jones are two of the biggest human beings I've ever seen. If I stepped on the field with one of those two, I'd step off the field and go back in the locker room. Those men are huge.
I have a picture of him next to Fryermuth, and Fryermuth looked tiny. And Fryermuth's a big dude. If you
he's about 6'5".
Yeah.
I don't know what Thomas said to Fryermuth, but he's
still a maniac. Just asked a serious question. He trying to make it hot. They trying to make it hot. Y'all see the question? Still a maniac? Trying to make it hot.
We can have this conversation. We can have a healthy conversation
sure
about Mason Rudolph's play and Kenny Pickett's play. Can we do that?
What?
I mean, it could be healthy, but
y'all don't know my opinion.
Can we do that? Can we have that conversation?
We'd be losing 5 in a row.
If Pickett was still a quarterback?
5 in a row?
Yeah.
If Kenny Pickett was quarterback?
I'm not going to lie.
We'd be losing 5 in a row.
Every game would be tough. There would be no 30-point blowouts because that man don't have no patience.
Yeah.
He don't know how to sit
and that's what it is, Dex. And I think and I saw a play, and it really, and I put Kenny Pickett in this exact same play, and I don't know the time clock of this particular play, but Mason's patience in the pocket, waiting for kind of things to develop, going through the reads and making the plays when he's actually throwing the ball is something that we would have seen Kenny kind of spin out to his left or whatever, the normal spin out that he does, and not be able to make the play downfield most likely.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. How many times have we said that Kenny is overthrown, underthrown, thrown too high, thrown too low, thrown to the left, thrown to the right? How many times have we said that about Mason Rudolph in the last couple of games? I think once. I seen him throw a high pass, and Pickett's caught it though.
Let's keep it real. Let's keep it real though. You can't name another game outside these last 2 games where Mason Rudolph played like this.
Prior to getting knocked out by the Ravens, he was playing. Yeah, no. Prior to getting knocked out by the Ravens, he was playing pretty good. The Ravens hit him.
Not like
the Ravens hit him.
I don't know. He did play good them years before.
He was playing okay. He wasn't playing this. He wasn't playing. He was playing pretty this great, but he was playing pretty decent.
Not like this,
guys. The pass
he's playing like a real NFL quarterback right now.
That's right. When he stepped up into the pocket and he's getting hit as he throws to the right side of the field, that was Roethlisberger-esque, man. He wasn't dancing. He wasn't. He took the shot. That was like, who the hell?
There was a couple of times where he was in the pocket and he didn't even move. He just stood there and waited for the play to develop and made the pass. Like, he is so comfortable in the pocket. I think we're going to score every possession. That's how I felt. Every possession I thought we was going to
That's how I felt watching the game.
I'll tell you something else I saw him do that I did not see Mitch do in either game, and that I think Kenny struggles with. Mason works his progressions.
You'll never
watch him stand there, and you see the guy going out into the flat, and it's nothing, boom. Whereas Kenny and Mitch, what they got their guy laser focused. They are hell bent. I mean, Mitch was going to get Pickens killed.
Yo.
Yeah, Mitch don't read the field well.
And that's what
Mitch gonna have to give the Rock a call.
Yeah,
the team just
he's
looks
out.
like it's clicking. You got happy receivers. You got Deontay got 4 catches. George Pickens is another 100+ yard game.
He's got 1,000 yards.
Making
1,000 yards. You know how many catches?
Like 60 catches or something like that.
63 catches. That is it.
Something.
That's amazing.
And he's up in the top 10.
That's amazing. Dope.
If Kenny would have played or Mason would have played, if Kenny would have played decent, I'm saying if Kenny would have played a lot better. Sorry,
calling probably had been a little bit more different in the beginning of the season, maybe, right? Those deep ball passes, it looks like Mason's very comfortable making them. He stands in the pocket. He stands in there. But that goes back to the offensive line, though. They are playing way better, y'all. I really got to give them credit.
Except Mason Cole.
Yeah, I'm sick of him.
Mason Cole's trash.
Yeah,
we need to draft. We need to get rid of him. Either draft or free agency.
Go back and watch the Seattle film. Every one of Mason's snaps is down here.
Yeah.
Sliding against the grass.
Almost every game.
He getting driven back 10 yards.
He was able to get pick up a low snap and still make something happen from the low snaps. I'm with you that Mason Cole has not been playing great ball. So and I said this in camp. I didn't know why we didn't bring in more centers to kind of, I'm not saying I didn't think Mason was the guy at camp, but I thought that we should definitely have some serious depth there, especially because they moved on from Kendrick Green and whoever I just felt like we were missing.
You think about centers in the Pittsburgh Steelers. You think about Mike Webster, Dermontti Dawson, Marquise Pouncey. I mean, that we've had as many rock centers as we have had coaches. Man, we got to go get ourselves the next Hall of Fame center. I don't know. I'm not that good of a scout to know who that is, but those guys should know who it is, and we got to go get them because Kendrick wasn't the answer, and this guy's not the answer either. I don't mean to be disparaging towards any player, but for God's sakes, I mean,
call him out.
I don't know that he threw one right here at Mason. I don't know that he threw one.
I mean, thank God he's not shooting them left and right. He only skitting them against the floor, but I think he's worried about getting his ass beat. That he does 60% of the time. He gets driven back so far. I'm just like, it just so happened that the way he's getting driven, they always step, like the quarterback always steps to the side, so it looks like he's blocking. But no, he need to eat some Wheaties or something or go something. He's too weak. He's weak.
Wheaties.
I feel bad for him. I feel bad for him.
Our buddy Ken Sterner just commented that this is a center deep.
Yeah, deep center draft. I put it up here. Should be able to get a good one. I'll have to look at that. You
know who we bought in to be his backup, but the rookie never played. He never got in. Number 74. I forgot his name.
Oh,
he's supposed to be a jackknife. Supposed to play guard, center, tackles. Yes,
we didn't. And then we have Herbig as backup now.
Yeah, we bought in these, but nobody's a true center because they usually talk about James Daniels sliding over the center. Yeah, Spencer.
Nobody's a true center. We don't have a true. I mean, and I think that's
normal. One time in Chicago.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Yeah.
So Mason keeps playing like this, gets us to the playoffs. What do you think about next year?
He's gone.
Mason?
Don't even.
He's gone. I think he's gone.
Guys.
Which Mason?
Think about if he
Mason
gets
Rudolph.
us to the.
Mason. No one's giving Mason no.
What's your decision? You get your team into the playoffs. Does Coach Tomlin go back to Kenny Pickett?
You could give me
I think it's
answer. They're gonna say yes.
Fair game in training camp. They got to fight for it. Fight to the death.
But the problem is Rudolph signed a 1-year contract, so somebody's gonna give him money next year. I don't think we're gonna do it.
Nah, yes.
I want to know if the Steelers miraculously get into the playoffs.
They're not gonna give Mason no bread.
Who starts? Does Mason start?
You go with the hot hand.
Go with Mason. You go with Mason.
You have to because he's hot. If he's hot.
Yeah.
If he gets into the playoffs, he's definitely starting.
He can't go back.
I'm not putting Pickett in there.
It's one of those situations like, all right, Kenny, you're going to have to sit down until next year, bro. Unless Mason's trash this next game. There's all right, Kenny, like, come in at halftime. You know what I'm saying? Like, this Mason has to lose it. But ain't nobody giving Mason no contract. I got to chill. He's not.
Well,
he's going to.
I think so. I think he'll get a backup easily.
Carolina going to give him a contract.
Carolina, Minnesota, Chicago.
Yes, the NFL's dumb like that. They do that.
Relax. So this is what I did encourage Mason. Build your tape. This is your resume you're building. I do believe he has enough film and to attract a team that has a solid offensive line. If you need a solid backup, I really do. I think he has attracted someone and be like, Mason's playing really, really good in the pocket. We have a solid line. We can protect him, and we can get the ball downfield to a Justin Jefferson. So I don't think Minnesota is a bad team that might be able to throw some money at a Mason Rudolph, right? You got the guys that got speed and can get open and get down there. Why not? So I think Mason is gonna have guys looking at him where he didn't really have that last year, and he didn't have the film to attract people. So this is a different ball game for him in the offseason. And if the Steelers want to keep him, because I don't see them re-signing a Mitchell Trubisky, they're gonna have to throw a little bit of change his way.
No, he's done.
Mason's $1 million. His base salary is $1,080,000, and he's an unrestricted free. He's gone. He's gone.
He's gone. He's good if he leads us to the playoffs and he feels some type of way and he says, you know what, I was drafted by Pittsburgh, I'm gonna give Pittsburgh a chance. That's a different story. but you got to remember how he's been treated, how Big Ben did him, all the things that happened to him, how we kind of turned on him with the Myles Garrett thing. You know, like I'm
How's
surprised he
Pickett being
came back
treated
to
right
Pittsburgh.
Hey,
How's
Big
Pickett
Ben
being treated right
said. Big Ben said.
Yeah, and how Pickett's been
Mason
kind of
Mason is
treated.
not
You're
a
right.
spiteful, hateful person.
Ben said that Mason didn't want his help after a while.
No, we all know Ben's just recounting what he thinks
Look,
happened. That's not what happened. We all saw that. We all saw what he said and how he was with
Yeah, I ain't
Mason.
falling for
So
Ben. I ain't trying to hear
so
that.
if
Ben has
Mason
two
if
versions
Mason
of
went
the
Ben,
to
you thought he was great.
Yeah.
Ben's out there. But if Mason goes into this Ravens game, beats the Ravens, somehow we get in the playoffs and he plays decent, it's going to come down to either he cares about Pittsburgh and wants to stay, or he's done with us and he's going to go somewhere else, get a backup or even a starting job for
I
a
think he
bad
wants to start a
team.
position.
What's
Yeah,
the
but it'll
money?
be for a
These
bad team, but he'll get
NFL
money.
teams are still looking for quarterbacks that can move. Mason can't really move like that. They're not going to
But
give
that's what
him
I'm
mad
saying. It
bread.
would have
That
to
is
be
that. You know
not.
what? Hey, you're right about that.
There's
You're
still
right about that.
quarterbacks
With the
that can
change that
move.
we're seeing right now, you might not get the typical prototypical quarterback, but he could still get a backup
Yeah, I'm
position
not
and still
looking
get
for him to
paid.
start. He just need to be a good, solid
All that,
backup.
just come back here. You
Who's
can
gonna
probably
start
I
then?
take him as a starter right now.
I see him as a starter.
I'll take him as a
He's
starter.
not getting younger.
I'll
He's
take
going
him
to go
over
to
number 8.
where off of 2 games, y'all. Off of 2
Number 8
games.
No,
gives
talk
crazy
about
anxiety, sir.
if
Talk about body of work,
plays
bro.
well
He's-
against Baltimore. Okay, if
Listen,
plays well
like
against Baltimore.
I'm gonna stick
The
by what
body
I
of work
said.
says that
He has,
Still Nation had Mason in the headlock. Like, yo, Still Nation hated Mason for the longest. Every single body. Every
did.
single
I
body.
ain't hate him.
There's not one Mason fan out there outside these last games.
Why? But
I ain't
why did we hate him? But why did we hate him
Not at
though?
all.
We didn't hate him because
he
of who he was. We
trash.
hate him because
was
Big
trash.
Ben. No, because
He
Big
was trash.
because Big Ben told us to hate him. That's why we hated him.
I'm not gonna lie.
He
I was
was-
gonna say that too.
I'm not a follower. So I'm not going with that. Nah. Big
Well,
Ben can't tell me nothing.
hold on. I'll be on
my
record.
favorite
I'll be on
quarterback
record as saying, and my homeboy reminds me of it every day. I said Mason Rudolph was going to take over for Big Ben, and he was going to be our next quarterback for a while. And my homeboy reminds me every day. He's a Chiefs fan. He reminds me every day that I said it. And now that Mason's winning, he's kind of like, kind of throwing his hands up. I like Mason Rudolph. I never believed that he was a bad quarterback. I just think he needed the opportunity. And you got to remember when Ben left and Ben was here, we really didn't have a good team. We had a okay team. We didn't really have. We had just lost to Killer Bees, and we were putting together a team again. So I never thought he was that bad. So I want to give him a chance, but we'll see what happens.
Tomlin
I
can
didn't hate
credit
Mason
that,
Rudolph
putting
as
something
a,
together.
like you said, I didn't hate Mason Rudolph as a person. I kind of sided with Big Ben. Like we could have used that draft pick to draft another position. Like that wasn't important. Ben wasn't going
Big
nowhere.
Ben wasn't even.
another.
He was on a decline then, man.
Huge decline. He was on a huge.
Let's keep it real. Let's
Yeah,
keep
but
it real.
you don't think if we had a decent O line,
team after what Ben did to us, bro.
Dex. We were 12. We were 11-0, and then all of a sudden lost 5 games straight, and then lost to the Browns in the playoffs. What
That wasn't
happened?
impressive. That wasn't impressive. 11-0.
No, but I'm saying what happened. If Ben was this great, if Ben was this great player and he wasn't ready to go, we were 11-0, and then all of a sudden we lost all those games and then lost to the Browns. What happened? Ben was not the same player. Ben was done with at that point. He just wanted to stay.
I really want to say the bottom line for Mason Rudolph here. I think he has an opportunity again to another week to put out phenomenal tape to command an offense, whether that's as QB number 2 or QB number 1. I think Mason has shown a team again that has a good offensive line that can protect the quarterback. If you have a quarterback that is not mobile, every team doesn't have one. Again, look at the Vikings, look at Detroit, look at what's another team that doesn't have a mobile quarterback. Like these teams that need someone that could sit on the sideline or stand in there in the pocket and distribute the ball down the field. He has shown he is able to do that. And for me, that is going to cost. That someone's going to want to pay. And the Pittsburgh Steelers can be a little stingy. We did see what they played Mitchell Trubisky. Maybe they'll be willing to re-sign Mason. They have been willing to pick up Mason the last couple of years when maybe no one was calling him or he just decided to come back to Pittsburgh. We don't know where that loyalty really lies, but I think he has a good opportunity to make more money for himself this next season. So congratulations to Mason. Continue. He's like, I trashed on Mason. I was wrong. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people trashed on Mason, and he's came to play. And I hope he continues
like,
to
no
be
one's wrong
successful
about that.
and build his tape, build your resume.
I think all of this comes down to what he does against Baltimore. If we make the playoffs, what he does there, and he will start in the playoffs if he beats Baltimore. I go back to the 1972 Dolphins, the undefeated Dolphins. Hall of Famer Bob Greasy gets hurt, and 38-year-old Earl Morrall comes in and gets the hot hand, goes all the way through the playoffs. Greasy's healthy, and Don Shula starts Morrall until he gets hurt, and then Greasy comes in. Someone said it earlier. I think it might have been Dex said it earlier. You never go away from the hot hand. So they're just going to keep playing that hot hand, and I hope he does it. I think it's fun
Nick
to
Foles won the Super Bowl, y'all.
lose their minds, but
He said who? Oh, Nick Foles.
Nick Foles,
Yeah, but
Nick Foles won a Super Bowl.
Carson Wentz was hurt though.
who?
Carson Wentz.
Yeah,
was
but
hurt.
he was still the hot hand. They could have went to somebody else.
Carson Wentz tore his ACL or something. He tore something in a couple games. That's why Nick Foles got in.
And we'll talk about the drama. Honestly,
Nick
I've been
Foles balling.
we'll talk about the drama a little bit.
Frank, I appreciate you bringing it forward to the 21st century and talking Nick Foles. Tell the old man to shut the hell up about the 72 Dolphins.
I wasn't thought of 10 years after that, sir.
No one knows what you're talking about.
It was like Mason is the new Nick Foles.
That's a young bull, man. We got to look out for them.
Mason is the new Nick Foles.
So,
there's six
where
people
I was going
over the age of
is-
70. They're like, yeah, what the white guy said. Yeah.
I lost whatever I was gonna say is gone now. I don't even know. Thank you, Uncle Jimmy.
I didn't bring him up.
I promise you we'd laugh if I came on, D. I promise you.
I appreciate it. I had totally gone out the window. I'm gonna try to recover what I was gonna say, but yeah. Okay.
The Pickett drama is what you're
anyway,
about?
did anybody see my clip of Danny Smith? I thought it was hilarious.
Yo.
I did post it on Twitter. Oh my goodness. I posted on Twitter and Instagram. So there was that moment where Witherspoon tackles Jalen really hard. He actually kind of grabbed him right here, throws him to the ground. And like Najee Harris comes over, like, and then Danny Smith, and he's almost looking Devin Bush, who wasn't even part of the play, actually comes over to the sideline. They're over by the Steelers sideline. And Danny Smith says, it's on, it's on. And I could just hear it. And I wish I had Danny Smith's voice, but he was like, it's on. You got the gum back here somewhere. And it was just so funny to see. He's just like a ball of fire. And I've watched it a million times, and I just cannot get over Danny Smith, just the energy that he has on that team. But that was a really, really hard hit by hard tackle by Witherspoon. And again, he had his hand right here. So they didn't call that. I don't even know if they call any of those things anymore. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. Let's talk about these referees. So the referee crew that would be refereeing the Steelers and Ravens game in Baltimore is the same crew that, if you saw, had the really, really controversial call in the Dallas and Detroit Lions game. Do you guys have any feelings about this crew?
It won't matter.
Does it matter?
Just play the game. O-line dominate.
You got to
worry about no refs.
I think when Brad Allen's ref,
we might get the calls we want. It might go in our favor.
I think we're 5-3 when he's refed our games. They screwed up on national television, and
happens.
That sucks for them. But they won't get to do a playoff game. But I don't expect there to be any. The NFL better hope there's no drama as it relates to Brad Allen's group. But I'm
not worried about it too much.
I'm not either.
My only thing is, I just hate that the refs get more opportunities, right? So I don't know the number of times they've made bad calls. We saw the last time, right? I don't know every instance. Apparently there's a history with this crew. For me, when I look at a situation with the DeMonte KZ, you've been fined multiple times. you've been kicked out of a game and you can't play the rest of the season because of your history. I look at it like, why do they keep getting opportunities to make mistakes, right? Like the players can't do that. Like I find you, I tell you you've done wrong, and you're gone. Like, sorry, you're detrimental to the game. How come the referees get to continue to play, and then we say, okay, you're not going to go to the playoffs, and maybe we'll put you on a game that doesn't matter as much, but you still get to operate, you still get to perform, you still get a paycheck. How come it's not similar to what the players have to go through? And the players can't even speak on it because then they have to pay. They get fined.
Referees getting scored. I mean, it's a slight difference. Players, they know the rules and regulations. They can't do this. They can't do that. If they do it, they get punished. Referees, they have rules.
These
they
guys got
follow.
real jobs too.
Right. So they make mistakes, judgment calls. Like you said, they're going to get punished for not going to the playoffs. I mean, that's the only punishment you can get. You can fire them if you want to, but I'm pretty sure they got a union as well that won't allow that. So I don't know.
I mean,
it's not a big deal to me.
If you live to see another week, sorry you're not going to the playoffs, but here's one more game to prove that you know what you're doing. I guess whatever. I guess that's how we operate in the NFL. Of course, I always feel like once gambling is always going to be a thing. There's always going to be controversy of people thinking things are rigged, and you ain't going to ever convince people otherwise. And look, football didn't start out all squeaky clean.
The real question is, do you think Pickett didn't want to go in the game, be a backup?
Okay, let's talk about this drama. Let me just say my piece. I didn't put it in my monologue because I didn't believe it, because I've been around Kenny Pickett, and his demeanor doesn't even speak to something like that. Like, he just seems, I don't know. Like, I think these fans and the media is gonna turn Kenny Pickett into who he isn't, and he's gonna be just like a cold guy because of the things that the fans and the media have done. He's been extremely nice. He's the way he's kind of like put himself out there and been to fans, I feel like isn't deserving of what happened the other day. I don't believe that he said he wasn't gonna go into the game. And if anything, if I'm Coach Tomlin, I'll be like, look, you're not playing. You didn't get cleared until whatever time or day it was. Just go ahead and sit down. Like, there's no point of you even suiting up, bruh. The timeline for us was 4 weeks since his surgery anyway. No one was supposed to be anticipating he'd be back until this week. So I don't know why it's a big deal. I don't even know why it made mainstream. I don't even know why we tried to amplify him being a diva or whatever people wanted to call it, not being a team player, when he's out there to begin with supporting his team. I feel like, again, every week the Pittsburgh Steelers fans and people want to create a villain. You didn't have a villain at all last week. Everyone's playing on one accord. But we got to dig and find a villain somewhere. Oh, Kenny Pickett, you didn't dress. He didn't want to dress. He didn't want to be QB number 2. So that's it. That's this week's villain. I don't like it.
I mean, they always do it. It was
I don't like it.
Harris and Warren. They try to cause beef with them. Then it was Pickens and Johnson. I mean, it's nonstop with the media. The fans are terrible too. I mean,
Pittsburgh.
It is.
Pittsburgh is we don't have a history of having a lot of hot takes. So this has been like the most people been nitpicking at little things. Tomlin gives them nothing. You listen to a Tomlin interview, it is boring and full of cliches. So now we got some stuff like what? Yeah, so they just using this because we're boring. Like we would never get on what's that show that come on HBO? Hard Knocks. What? Never would see us on Hard Knocks. This is the closest to Hard Knocks as we gonna get. So I feel like let them. Hey, listen, I want to pick, go pick.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, but I think something happened, but not to the magnitude that they're making it. Something happened because Kenny's saying, hey, I was going to start, but then they said no. There was communication there Because if Kenny didn't say that, then I would be like, yeah, they're making stuff up. But something was said. There was talk. It changed, and that's all that happened. It just changed. Like, hey, you know what? Never mind. We're gonna go with Mason. We're not gonna go with you. All right, cool.
The offense didn't.
I'm just.
I don't care if he was a healthy. You stay with the high hand.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Sit down and learn, just like every other quarterback had to learn. Sit down, sit back, and watch. But anyway, he's not learning anything anyway, so who cares, right?
Thank you. I always say that.
We're not back on that. We're not back on that.
He's emotional.
We're not doing that this week.
Did say that.
Yeah, he ain't learning nothing. He ain't learning anything, man.
He said,
did you learn anything?
You don't need to learn.
I really don't understand what you expected from that, man. You wanted a whole soliloquy on this is what I learned today. Like, no, I'm not giving you that. Shut up. Get out of my face. I'm good.
Come on, D.
Get out of here. That happens in the film room, not in a 5-minute interview with the media. No.
Absolutely. Who's their PR person, D? Who's their PR person?
We can all agree.
Who's the head of it? That's Bert. But
he could have answered that better.
Thank you.
Yeah, he could have answered it better.
He could have did better. Come on.
He was emotional.
Stop that.
But he didn't. He didn't. He didn't. He don't want to hear.
I'm saying that's what I said. I don't know why he was emotional.
I feel like you're adding. You wanted a political answer.
I'll be too if you ask me stupid questions.
That wasn't a stupid question. Did you learn? You sitting behind somebody that's doing better than you. Did you learn? No. What? That's so childish.
The third guy.
And now the third guy's the first guy.
Why would I say I'm not doing that again this week? I'm not doing that.
Why? Because he's putting up 30 points.
At this point in the season, I'm tired of all of it. Like, I'm a human being, and I'm tired of all of it. And there's a lot of it I don't even want to respond to. I don't even watch these interviews because I'm done because I hate how it's going to turn into something else.
You know what he learned?
And so I'm
smiling
done.
a lot more.
I read too much into
Why
them
is
Jones,
smiling a lot more?
Pickens?
I think.
Why is he smiling so much?
I think what he could have said, his answer could have been
because the offense is actually playing good.
Pickett couldn't do it.
Hold up. What are you saying, Uncle Jimmy?
I'm 55 years old. I've been watching football a long time, and I've learned a lot sitting here listening to you all. Right. All Pickett had to do is say, did you learn anything on the sidelines? I would have said to him, I think you can always learn something, no matter what the circumstance. I think you keep your ears open, your eyes open, you pay attention.
He's not that type of person. The competitor in him won't allow him to do that.
Oh well, you're emotional.
I mean,
just gotta live with that.
The competitor,
man. You just gotta live with it.
The competitor in him didn't allow him to throw touchdowns. I mean, come on.
Right,
I get it.
Everything can be right. Everything can be true.
Hey, I understand.
I'm not saying I learned from Mason, bro.
16
no, that's fine. Hey, you don't have to. You could have said, hey, sitting behind. I see the game a little differently.
But why y'all trying to tell Kenny how to talk though? Why y'all trying to tell Kenny how to talk?
That's not telling him how to talk. That's telling him how to answer.
What does that really mean?
Agree with Travis.
That's for y'all.
He's being critiqued. That's what he's being. He's being critiqued.
That's for y'all. Y'all don't know what Kenny said in the locker room. Y'all don't know
that's
what Kenny said.
I'm gonna talk about what I learned, what I saw when we talk about
because
in the film.
I'm not doing it.
But you know what though? You know why we're critiquing him? Because when you see George Pickens, who is a great talent, not happy and wants to probably be out of Pittsburgh prior to these last couple of weeks, what do you say then? And then when he goes to another team and said,
I don't even get that part.
Why does he want to get out of Pittsburgh? Because he sees Zay Flowers getting touchdowns. He sees Jamar Chase getting touchdowns. And what is he getting?
Because
he's getting a 5-yard dump pass.
He can't connect.
Or he's getting a pass over the middle and getting his head almost taken off. That's what he's getting.
And listen to the shenanigans online and listen to the media, pull this way and talk about how he's not a team player that way and this and that. Why would he want to be out of Pittsburgh? Like, I don't think fans and media understand how they contribute to the turmoil with the team. You don't have no responsibility.
If George that the players don't really care like that.
We had to look. We had to
impress the
watch. I
media.
watched
They're not
Sam
here to impress
Hayward's highlight of his
our
podcast
thoughts.
saying, "I can't even believe I have to sit up here and address this. Like,
What are
why
the
do I
players
have
here
to
to
get on
do?
my
Play,
show to
right?
address
A new
some
day, man.
foolishness? What?
Don't ask Pickett no questions then. Don't even ask him no questions. You know what? When you get on the field,
They're going
do
to
your
because they know
job.
what they're going to get.
Do your job. Do your job. That's it. If you can't do your job, then we just won't ask you no questions because you're not
Yeah,
learning.
I don't.
Whatever. But you know what?
I don't
When
see
you're
that
scoring
being.
16
The
points a
media
game,
won't have a job.
you're scoring
Amen.
Media won't have
16
a
points
job.
a game. Come on now. And then the
Look,
guy
we
comes in
all
with
can
30
see.
Yo,
There's
Frank,
no
what you think about
one.
this, Frank? What you
Come
think about
on.
this, man?
What about what?
Oh
Pickett?
my God.
Don't ask me about Pickett, bro.
Thank you.
Listen, we all seen him live, and
Yeah.
look, I'm not
Emotional.
impressed. I
Go
seen
ahead,
Pickett
go ahead.
when he, listen.
Go
I seen
ahead.
Pickett when he played for Pitt against Penn State a couple years ago, and I wasn't impressed then. So I knew I was going to be upset when he came to the Steelers.
Man, you just
So
don't
what's your
like
plan?
A
him.
lot
How
of
many
people
how
mad
many
at him now.
You don't
quarterbacks
like
are
him. You're a
Pittsburgh
Penn State
Everyone knew he
Steelers?
wasn't that good.
I know. I
And
don't
Frank,
want
you don't
to.
like
I didn't want
Frank,
to
you
go
don't
back
like him
down this
because
road.
you're like the Penn State, buddy. That's the only reason. You Penn State guys all hate Pitt guys.
You must be looking at the mirror.
What?
How
Draft
many
pick.
how
I
many
don't like the guy.
quarterbacks do the Pittsburgh Steelers bring in this offseason? Do they draft one? Do they bring in a couple from free agencies? Let's just talk about that real quick, and then we're gonna get into the
He threw the
playoff.
beanie on.
What needs to happen, playoff scenarios, and then we'll
Nice
get
hat,
into the
Jimmy.
predictions because we already over here. Look, we are. Look at him. We are. So,
Nice
how
hat.
many quarterbacks do you think they bring in the offseason?
One.
We're going to
It
have
did-
one.
Two.
Two
I
are
say
gonna be
two.
We
good.
don't bring in no quarterback if we don't get first. That's
I
how I'm
take Drew
coming.
Lock. I like Drew Lock. Drew Lock showed something.
So
No.
I'm not saying who. I'm just
all
saying how
right.
many. I say they bring in at at least two quarterbacks.
I say two. Yep, two.
Yeah, because we're going to
I'm
lose
at
two.
two.
Drew Lock.
Possibly
I think
three.
the smart move is you move up in the draft and you try to get one of these top quarterbacks because there's not really like who we talking about free agent Russell Wilson.
Are you
Man, I don't
going
really
to
care.
make Pickett upset, man? You're going to make Pickett upset if you do that.
Hey,
He's
Gotta
gonna be
bring-
emotional.
You gotta have that.
he's
You gotta have-
he's
If you
already
bring in
upset.
somebody significantly better,
Like who? But I'm saying like as far as
It's
free
all about
agent,
Mike
other
Tomlin
than
anyway.
trading,
Who's
He's a first
available?
round
You know,
pick. You can't do that to a first round pick.
if it was up to me, watch me. I'll do it
Thank you.
all day.
'Cause I would do the
I don't
same
know,
thing.
dude. Steeler maniac. No, do not bring Kirk Cousins so he can take all our money. That guy's fleeced so many
Kirk
teams for
Cousins.
money.
Yeah,
Kirk
yeah,
Cousins,
he
Kirk
robbed
Cousins look
him,
crazy in
Minnesota.
that
I'll go actually
no
back to
shirt
what
on with the chain, and his team gets spanked. Like
I'll go back to what D and my apologies if I don't get your name right. Steelers for 7 podcast was saying. I think you need to bring in a mobile quarterback
Right.
because the old school in the pocket.
Who?
Can I ask you a
Russell
question?
Wilson. I don't want to bring him in, but Russell Wilson, you maybe
We'll
make a
figure it
play
out
for
when we
Justice
get
for
Hey,
Fields.
Chubbs, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So, you know what I mean? Y'all know I played ball before. And why would you bring in a mobile quarterback when, number one, we have a mobile quarterback and clearly our line really doesn't know how to block for a mobile quarterback? You understand? If you look at the way our line blocks, comparison KP, Mitch versus Mason, they rather have someone stationary because of the way they block. You understand? I was listening to, I brought this up last week. I was listening to Ramon Foster's podcast, and he said there's a difference between, he said he'd rather have a stationary quarterback than a mobile one because he knows that if I got to take my man left or right or ride and pass, that someone is just going to step up in the pocket as opposed to someone immediately bailing out and you're running into a sack. So you gotta know how your line is going to block before you just bring in a mobile quarterback because that don't do nothing for you. I don't care. We have Lamar Jackson, even though Lamar Jackson he kind of mastered the pocket thing because I've seen him sit in the pocket, in plenty of times than where we thought he would have ran. But you give me your O-line the confidence to say, listen, I'm going to ride this defensive end who's rushing hard past you and you step up in the pocket as opposed to riding him. And I'm thinking you're going to step up, but now you bail out to the left and smack that into the sack.
Like Pickett?
So I think we need to know. We need to know what type of line we got first before
That's what
we
you're talking
deal
about.
with.
Well, I think we need to. I think we need to build a line, but the problem is name me the last stationary quarterback that's playing well in the NFL. They're not there anymore. They're starting to funnel out. Now
Yeah.
quarterbacks are mobile and they're able to get outside the pocket, make plays outside the pocket. That's. I'm not saying. See, when we think of mobile, we think of a running quarterback. I'm not saying running, but if you think of a Josh Allen, a Joe Burrows, a Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy does it sometimes. You think of all these top quarterbacks. Trevor Lawrence. They're able to get outside the pocket and make Hurts. They're able to get outside the pocket and make plays. I'm not saying we need someone as soon as they hike the ball, they start taking off run. No, because you're gonna get hurt. We need somebody though that can, when the play breaks down, they can get outside the pocket. What Ben used to do. Ben just used to do it slow. We need but we need a little bit more speed with that. And if we get that,
Ben was fast, man.
So before, I know we're a little over here, so I want to go through the playoff scenarios here, just in case someone's listening doesn't know what it's going to take for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get in the playoffs. Okay, scenario number 1: the Steelers win in Baltimore and Buffalo loses. Okay, they're playing the Miami Dolphins. Okay, scenario number 2: the Steelers win and Jacksonville loses, or they tie. Or the Steelers win, Indy and Houston end in a tie. Okay. Steelers tie, Indianapolis and Houston don't end in a tie, and Jacksonville loses. Or even with the Steelers' loss, Indianapolis and Houston cannot end in a tie, and Jacksonville has to lose, and Denver wins. Then the Steelers are in. So those are 5 different scenarios for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get in the playoffs. If they win in Baltimore, most likely, does anyone think any of these things are possible?
Tell you,
Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville losing because Trevor Lawrence isn't playing in Jacksonville, and I think
Will Levis is playing. I think they're both out, aren't they?
And I think Derrick Henry about to run all over Jacksonville. That's what I need him to do: score 3 touchdowns and let's go.
I think
so Miami, Tennessee Buffalo. Upsetting the Jacksonville Jaguars is what you guys think is going to happen.
Miami gonna beat the Bills.
It's in Tennessee.
I think the Dolphins gonna beat.
Miami beating the Bills,
and that's a you gotta remember that's a big game too because
that's a division game.
That's division champ game, and if the Bills lose, they're out. So they have a lot of pressure on them. So hopefully Miami shows up.
Miami
Not like they did against Baltimore.
And I think everybody in the AFC wants the Bills to be out because the Bills are kind of getting hot right now, right? They had a whole kind of different offensive scheme, kind of like what Pittsburgh's got going on, right? I don't think nobody wants to see Pittsburgh in there anyway, because they're putting up points.
That running game.
Whereas, like, I would let a Pittsburgh Steelers team that's averaging 16 points bring your butt into the playoffs, please get in. But yes, so the Miami is missing their best pass rusher in Chubb. He's out. We know Tyreek Hill's not healthy. I don't know if Waddle's playing. He's not healthy out in Miami. I don't know if Mercer's healthy in Miami. So they're missing some guys. And then, of course, Xavier Howard went out last week in Baltimore against Miami. They just got their butt whoops in Baltimore crazily. So they got their tail between their legs here. So maybe they will come out with some fire against Buffalo. Jacksonville, I did not think this whole season that Jacksonville was a good team. They were playing good ball. And I don't know. That's definitely something. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll be scoreboard watching Sunday. So if you win, what we gonna be doing?
What'd you say, Frank?
Playing special teams.
Don't forget about Chase Claypool, Miami. You know, if everybody else is hurt.
I haven't seen him. Yeah, I haven't seen him make a play. They've been using Chosen or whatever his name, Robbie Anderson, aka Chosen, more so than they've been using the Chase Claypool. So
he did use his name.
So yeah, Bills
can't make it tomorrow, man.
Yeah, Uncle Bills. You said you think Colts and Texans gonna go on a tie. I don't think that's gonna happen. but that would be funny if it did. I think CJ Stroud. Nobody wants to see CJ Stroud in the playoffs either.
All I
And
know
we're
is
gonna
this.
have a show, whether the Steelers are in the playoffs or not. I'm gonna try to have a show. I'm gonna
We
be
gotta go win in Baltimore. Otherwise, this is all
Right.
verbally.
Yeah. All those hype. Yeah, we got to be there.
that's
Worry
all
about
I'm
us first,
on,
and then
man.
see what happens after that.
And Jimmy said it. Jimmy said it earlier, and this is why it irks me. If we beat Baltimore, we're 5-1 in the division, and we might not make the playoffs.
Yeah,
those three games killed us, man. That is horrible.
You bring up Jacksonville, we couldn't beat that.
Still have a better record than last year.
Similar.
Yeah, we still have better.
Last year, we lost the teams that we shouldn't have lost to. Same
and that's every
situation.
year, though. That's every year, though.
Oh yeah.
By the way,
year 2 post Ben with a better record than last year.
By the way, that'll be historic if that happens. If we go 5-1 in the division and don't make the playoffs, it's never happened before.
One of the toughest divisions in the NFL.
Yeah.
If we had,
nobody wants to see Cleveland either. I'm trying to tell you, the AFC North teams do not want to see each other in the playoffs. They do not want that smoke. Baltimore does not want to see Cleveland.
Look at I want Cleveland so bad to walk into Baltimore.
I don't want no part of Cleveland.
No, I want to see Flacco walk into Baltimore and just beat him.
Yeah.
So it would be the funniest thing in the world. Because I do a show with Ravens fans, so it would be the smile on my face for that week would be amazing.
Flacco would not get in the Ring of Honor.
I think if he made the playoffs, the first game would be in Miami. I think so.
If we make the playoffs, I think isn't it Kansas City? I think we see Kansas City.
Either Miami or Kansas City, one of the two.
I want to see Kansas City because they kind of,
Yeah, they suck.
I want to see Kansas City too because it's only a 3-hour drive for me, so I'll be at the game.
Oh,
that will be deja vu because the last year the Steelers made the playoffs. We needed help. It's crazy.
We always need help.
needed help. I was on vacation. Everyone was asking me if I was going to the game in Kansas City, and I was like, I'm on vacation because my birthday is always that week after the season ends. And they played Kansas City, and I thank goodness I was in 80-degree weather on an island watching my team lose terribly to Kansas City. So if they did that again and managed to go back, it would be deja vu. It would literally be me reliving that all over again. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I want to get you guys' prediction for this game in Baltimore. Let me know what you think. Dane, let me start with you because you always kind of kick it off. And yeah, go ahead.
I think we win this game. I think it'll be
going to be in
sorry. It's going to be in terrible weather. So I'm looking at 17-13. Steelers winning that one. Running game.
So Dane said we're going to win, and he said we're scoring under 20 points. This is scary, y'all. No, I'm kidding. No. Go ahead, Shug.
Like hurricane weather.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game, but I think Najee and Warren are going to go off because Baltimore is going to be resting their starter, so I think we're going to be able to run the ball against them. So I think we're going to – that too. I think it's going to be 24 – I'm going to say 24, and then Tyler Huntley's going to – instead of putting the ball across the line, he's going to put it up in the air. So I'm going to say it's going to be 24-17.
And this is like Tyler Huntley's first game he's starting, so he's going to get out there. He also might be shopping for a new team too, so he's going to try to put up some tape out there. So don't think Tyler Huntley coming out here just for play. He's coming to make a case for himself. What's your prediction?
We win it, baby.
Frank?
I'm going 2017. They just got to run the ball, protect the ball, and no turnovers. But it's going to be nasty weather, so it can go either way.
You're saying 2017 Pittsburgh?
Yes, sir.
Are you writing this down, Jimmy?
You damn straight I am.
Are you going to hold up?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Kev.
Who's next?
I think Kev be having a delay.
My full prediction will be out Friday, but all I'm gonna say is the Steelers gonna win. Mike Tomlin is gonna have a 10-win season. Better than last year, post Big Ben. Shout out to Mike Tomlin. He's the best coach. He's not getting fired. Anybody that disagree with that, oh well. Yeah, man, man. But my official tissue one's gonna come out on Friday, man.
So you're saying Steelers, but you're not giving a score?
Yeah, his show. He puts his out on
Yeah,
Friday,
you
but
got
he
to
is
wait for
saying
Friday.
still.
I got you. I got you.
Go ahead, Dex. What you got?
Yo, I'm going 17-10 Steelers, and not because of the offense. Like, I know the offense going to do their thing, but I truly think that Miles Jack, and I pray to God Jalen Smith plays to stop the run, to stop Gus Edwards, I think his name is. The other running back I don't really care about. But that Gus
Mitchell.
Edward
Mitchell.
and
Mitchell.
yeah.
No, Mitchell's out. He's done for the
No.
season.
No. It's
Yeah,
another
Mitchell's out.
little
Hill,
scat
Justice
back.
Hill.
Justice
Justice
Hill.
Hill.
I ain't ready about him, but that Gus Edwards, he
Oh,
leans
yeah.
forward. He always falls forward, and we got to
And they'll
stop
have
Fat Boy.
Melvin Gordon or whoever the other one is.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't
We're
worried
gonna
about him.
dominate. We dominate.
What's that
Tomlin
other
for president.
fat fullback lineman?
Oh, Hard R Picard is what they call him in Baltimore.
Yo, Picard. Yo,
Picard.
yes.
Yeah.
If we can stop them two, we got the win. So I want Jalen Smith. I hope he get in this rotation because I seen what he did with the Cowboys. He was a thumper. He was a thumper. Miles Jack coming downhill. That's why we're gonna win this game. I'm telling you, when they run that ball and our linebackers just boom, boom, boom. That's it. Tyler Huntley gonna get happy feet, launching it. We're gonna have my man 20 back there catching more picks.
Mika.
Oh yeah,
Mika
Mika might be back. Mika might
We
be
need him for
back.
tackling. We're gonna need him for tackling. I don't know what his hand situation is like, but we're definitely
Oh
gonna
yeah,
need
he
him for
broke
the
his
tackling.
hand, right?
He be all right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still gonna have it wrapped up. We haven't seen him in a few weeks, so we'll see. But Uncle Jimmy, what's your prediction?
Pittsburgh, Tawny 86 a little bit ago stole my predictions, or I should just say I agree with him. I think it's low scoring because of the mud, because of the weather, because of the slop. But I still think we break 20. I got 23-20 Pittsburgh.
Okay. 23-20. He has over the 20. I think you might be okay. All right. I don't have the number yet, but I still I know these guys are coming in with energy. They're not coming in here to lose. They know what's on the line, and it's AFC North football. We already know. When is the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't came up to play up to par with a AFC North opponent? When's the last time an AFC North opponent has just ran all over them? Probably the Bengals, probably the closest team and the last team that's really run them down to the ground. But yeah, I have the
Tomlin.
Steelers coming in here.
Yeah, Tomlin. Tomlin gonna have him ready. He's gonna have him ready.
Okay. What are the odds of that? What are the odds Mike Tomlin has?
Damn right he gonna have him ready.
Tomlin gonna be hitting him with
that little swag walk. He'll be ready.
Whatever. We'll see what
He's gonna
happens.
throw a couple touchdowns too.
I'm gonna try my best to make it to this particular game. It is down the street, so
you'll be there. Make sure you're there.
All right.
And can you retire that Canada cake?
No, it's undefeated. Are you kidding me? I wore it on Sunday.
I get so mad every time I see it.
I'm bringing it to the bank.
She left that behind at a tailgate, and I paid the tailgate guy money to throw it in the garbage, and he held onto it for her.
Oh man.
That's why we lost 3 games in a row, y'all. I hadn't had that cape for 3 weeks.
She said, "Jimmy, did you look for the cape?" I said, "I looked. It's gone. It's gone. You didn't bring it back." She goes, "That's funny.
We would have lost out if it
wasn't
wasn't for me." Man, okay. All right, y'all. I want to thank y'all for coming. Thank you for everybody in the comments. Every Steelers freak, Steelers maniac, TJ, Ken, Pitts and Push, Young Boy. I know I'm missing somebody. Everybody that came through earlier. Just thank you so much. Thank you also, guys, for joining me. Thank you, Frank and Jimmy and Shook. This is your first time on the show. We love it. I hope you guys had a good time. I enjoyed you. And we'll be back. We'll be back next week. I was going to try to squeeze another show in just because I know I'm going on vacation. So the setup's going to look a little different next week when I do the show. But thank you guys for coming. I love y'all and be safe. And Happy New Year. I'm
Happy
rude.
New Year.
New Year.
Yeah.
All right. I'll check you guys later.
Tomlin for president too.
Oh, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube D Love Sports. Please go ahead and subscribe. Everything when I get to the game and go to the game, I'm going to be uploading as much as I can. Make sure you subscribe to D Love Sports. Bye, y'all.
All right. Good